is a lot of people ask me about life expectancy calculator. So how do I know how long I'm going to live? How do I know how long my miserable ex-spouse is going to live? And so, I've gone here to this John Hancock life expectancy calculator. There are many of them. Different people use different ones. I think RSSA recommends potentially a non-affiliated one. But I looked at this one. It's really interesting to know what data is going to help you calculate. But in this situation, I'm going to redo it. See if I can redo it. So what I said was, I'm a man. I'm a non-smoker. Um, I am 57. I'm 5'8", 145 pounds. Um, my blood pressure is normal, but I am medicated for cholesterol. And from a lifestyle perspective, I do exercise daily. I'm at the gym all the time. I don't really drink alcohol. I know that'll be hard for some other people. And I have not had any moving violations in the last year. So you can kind of see, and this is a statistical number, 94 years old. So it is, it's based on a normal distribution. So there will be some people who answer these questions exactly like I did, and will die earlier. There'll be some people who will die a little bit later, but the lion's share will die somewhere around 94, either a couple years later or a couple years earlier. You'd have to look at the distribution curve to kind of see what percentage. I think within a certain range, about 95% would be, probably give or take a few years here. Okay. So be aware of that. And be reasonable. Look at the numbers. Think about your family history, and whether or not this makes sense. I had a grandfather who lived longer than this. He was with us till 100. I had another grandfather who died early, but he had very high blood pressure. And so I think I'm a little bit more like my other grandfather. I had I had two grandmothers. One of my grandmothers died of colon cancer. So had I do have my regular screenings. And so I feel pretty protected there. So I'm not going to consider sort of that early piece. My paternal grandmother lived into the late 80s with high blood pressure again. I don't have that situation. So I think I'm much more like my paternal grandfather, who again lived to 100. So, I'm going to kind of push when I file, I'm going to think about the fact that I'm going to be around a while. And and being plus 90, I think is a really interesting conversation to have, because most people that are plus 90 need some degree of help. And lots of people as they get older, and my grandfather, who was a very independent guy, um, you know, certainly his last 5 years, he was he was pretty stationary. Um, and very active mentally, but he did require a great deal of help. So it's good to kind of factor that into this analysis, and think a little bit about what that's going to mean. Right. I think those are the extras that I was planning on showing you today.